Hey, what's up everyone? Alexander here. Today we're finally taking the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 Creator Combo out into the real world to see if this tiny camera can actually replace a bigger setup for vlogging and everyday filming. We're going to test stabilization, ActiveTrack, 4K slow motion, low light performance with the fill light, and I'll show you how far the internal storage and battery really go. If you're thinking about buying this kit, definitely watch this video all the way through before you spend your money. If you missed part 1, that's where I unboxed the Osmo Pocket 4 Creator Combo and showed everything that comes in the box. Quick recap so we're on the same page. The Pocket 4 has a 1-inch CMOS sensor. It can shoot 4K video up to 240 frames per second. It offers around 14 stops of dynamic range with a 10-bit D-Log color profile, and it has 107 gigabytes of built-in storage plus a micro SD slot up to 1 terabyte. Battery life is rated for up to 240 minutes of recording at 1080p/24, and it charges from 0 to about 80% in roughly 18 minutes with a fast PD charger. So on paper, this thing is a little monster. Let's see what it's like when you actually use it as your main camera for a day. Alright, first test is simple, a straight handheld vlog. Right now, I've got the Osmo Pocket 4 on the battery handle, using the mini tripod as a little grip, and I've attached the wide-angle lens from the Creator Combo so I can fit more of the background into the frame. I'm shooting in 4K 30 in the standard color profile, and I've turned on ActiveTrack 7.0 to lock onto my phone. As I'm walking, pay attention to how stable the horizon is and how smooth the movements look. Even if my hand isn't perfectly steady, the 3-axis mechanical gimbal plus the electronic stabilization do a really good job of turning this into a floating gimbal-style shot instead of shaky phone footage. The rotatable 2-inch screen also makes this super easy. I can flip it for horizontal or vertical without going into menus, so if I want to shoot a YouTube short or a reel, I just rotate the screen and hit record. Now let's check out one of the headline specs, 4K at 240 frames per second. I've switched into the 4K/240 slow motion mode, and I'm going to record a few simple shots. Things like water pouring into a glass, small objects moving, people walking by, just everyday stuff. When you slow this footage down in the timeline, you can see how clean it is. Because it's still 4K, the slow-mo clips don't fall apart or turn mushy. You keep the detail in textures, you can see little droplets and micro movements, and it all still looks sharp enough to cut into a regular 4K video without standing out in a bad way. If you're into B-roll, product shots, or cinematic transitions, this 4K/240 mode is honestly one of the biggest reasons to consider the Pocket 4 over a lot of cheaper cameras. YouTube video. Now I want to show you how the dynamic range on this camera actually looks in a tough lighting situation. I've switched the Osmo Pocket 4 into 10-bit D-Log, which is the flat profile designed to squeeze out the full 14 stops of dynamic range from that 1-inch sensor. Check out how much detail the camera is able to hold in both areas. The bright parts aren't just blown out white, and at the same time you can still see texture and color in the shadow areas instead of everything turning into a black silhouette. Because it's true 10-bit D-Log, I can bring this footage into my editor, add contrast, tweak the colors, and still keep a clean image without banding or ugly gradients. That's something you usually expect from bigger cameras, not a pocket-sized gimbal cam. Now we're in low light, and this is where most small cameras start to fall apart. I've switched the Pocket 4 into its low light video mode, and I'm using the magnetic fill light that comes with the Creator combo. It clips directly onto the camera and gets power through the contacts on the gimbal, so there's no cable mess. The 1-inch sensor also helps a lot. The image holds up better than a tiny action cam sensor, and noise is more controlled, especially if you stay at reasonable ISOs. So for night vlogging or shooting in moody indoor locations, the combo of the bigger sensor plus the built-in fill light is actually very usable. Alright, let's get practical and talk storage and battery, because that's what decides whether you can trust this as your main camera. The Osmo Pocket 4 has 107 gigabytes of internal storage, and DJI says that at the standard bitrate you can record up to about 600 minutes of 1080p/24, or around 220 minutes of 4K/60 directly to that built-in memory. That means for a normal day of vlogging, you can easily get through it without even inserting a micro SD card. If you do need more space, you can add a card up to 1 terabyte, so realistically you won't run out of room unless you're shooting absolutely everything. Battery life is another strong point. DJI rates it at up to 240 minutes of continuous recording at 1080p/24, and in real-world tests, it's still giving several hours, even at higher resolutions. On top of that, with fast charging, you can go from 0 to about 80% in roughly 18 minutes, which is perfect if you just plug into a power bank while you're taking a break. So in terms of reliability for a day of content creation, storage and battery are honestly not something you have to stress about here. So after spending a full day shooting with the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 Creator combo, here's where I land on it. If you want a camera that's always with you, that gives you genuine gimbal stabilization, 4K/240 slow motion, 10-bit D-Log, surprisingly good low light performance, and enough storage and battery to shoot for hours, this is one of the most complete Pocket Creator kits you can buy right now. You literally take it out of the box and you're ready to go. You've got the camera, the wide-angle lens, the fill light, the mini tripod, and a wireless mic solution included in the Creator combo. You don't need to build a crazy rig or spend weeks figuring out accessories. You can just start filming. If you want to see me compare the Osmo Pocket 4 directly against a flagship smartphone or maybe a bigger mirrorless setup, let me know down in the comments. If this video helped you out, hit like, subscribe to Techxandar for more tech and gadget content, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.